You're listening to The Monetized Mom, the podcast that teaches moms of faith how to monetize their expertise online to create influence, impact, income, and more importantly, financial independence. I'm your host, Flo Alexander. Let's chat. Hey mama, if you're listening to this, I know one thing about you. You want to be able to exit your corporate career so that you can spend more time with your spouse and kids, have the freedom to travel and live life on your own terms, all while creating real transformation and impact in the lives of others with your expertise. Well, you're in luck. I just released a new case study on the method moms are using to build a profitable online business, make a full-time income from home, and quit their 9-to-5. You can access it now at themonetizedmom.com/study. That's themonetizedmom.com/study. Again, themonetizedmom.com/study. Let's get on with the show. What would you do if you got sued? Seriously, what would you do? Well, if you don't know the answer to that question, then you need to tune into today's podcast episode because I'm going to be talking with attorney Thelma Anderson of TellALawyer Consulting Group, and she's going to give us all the gems on how to legally protect your business. So if you've ever wanted to ask a lawyer anything concerning your business, about contracts, LLCs, trademarks, all those things, then this is the episode that you want to tune into because she's going to be telling you all the details on how to make sure that you are squared away legally in your business to protect yourself against anything that could happen. So stay tuned to this interview. Hey, how are you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited about our conversation that we're going to have today because I know people have questions about all legal things, right? All things legal. I'm sure you get hit up on your Instagram, in your DMs about legal questions. So we're gonna dispel some myths for them today. So as they're joining or if they're watching on the replay, they will get all the tea that they need when it comes to the legal aspect of business. All right. So.
Absolutely.
You want to tell the people more about your law firm and what you do and how you help businesses?
Absolutely. I started TellALawyer. I actually pivoted from being a full-time prosecutor this year to go full-time with TellALawyer Consulting Group. I started TellALawyer because as a serial entrepreneur myself, I had to figure it out because they didn't teach us how to do this in law school. They didn't teach us how to run a business, start a business, just knowing how to read legal documents and basically understand the law. So I went through everything that every business owner goes through from the beginning, trying to figure out what is the proper formation, how to form it, who do I need to contact, where do I get insurance, how do I protect my brand, everything that any entrepreneur has endured or is and will go through. I went through it, which prompted me to develop TellALawyer Consulting Group because I was like, I know if I'm going through it as a lawyer, I know that the average person is trying to figure it out and is struggling and is worried and concerned, trying to navigate through business. It's an everyday thing. It's not just a one day, okay, I figure it out. No, then you got to go to the next thing. So starting TellALawyer was really I wanted to focus on the entrepreneur, the business owner, and give them resources that I know I've been able to figure out and help them navigate through it. Because when you hire a business lawyer, majority of the time, that business lawyer has not started a business outside of a law firm. So they really don't have that experience to be able to walk you through. They're figuring out the things that you need as it goes or what they have done for previous clients, but they haven't gone through the entrepreneur side of an average business owner. So knowing that, I was like, okay, there are individuals that need someone that is a lawyer that has went through it. So that's what prompted me to start it.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Like I really, like you don't think about it, like you just think a lawyer, right? But as an entrepreneur, like it's some things that we go through that people just don't understand unless you've gone through. And I literally never thought about the fact that a lot of lawyers probably just work for a firm and they haven't necessarily had the walk of an entrepreneur to have firsthand experience on the things that they're actually counseling us on. So that is a very good point. So when looking for a lawyer, make sure they understand they have that experience and it's not just from a firm. Good point.
Absolutely.
Good point. Okay, so when we think lawyers, a lot of times we think in trouble. We come to lawyers when we are in need. Personal example, like, and when we need something done, or maybe we just need something. So is there a point where entrepreneurs need to have like a lawyer on retainer, or when is that point where entrepreneurs just actually need to seek out an attorney to begin with?
Let me just keep it all the way real. Unless you are a corporation or you are a business that is generating 6 to 7 figures, there is no need to have a lawyer on retainer.
Okay.
Because you're wasting money. Because every month you may not need anything from that lawyer, but guess what? Their retainer is still going to be deposited.
Right.
And so if you are a small business owner, you're just starting out, whether you're making $2,000 to $50,000, you really just need to consult with lawyers on your startup, what kind of proper documents you need to have in place for the type of business that you have, protecting your brand, and what other resources that they can. We'll also creating a crisis management protocol, because that's what a lot of small business owners don't have, is that understanding what a crisis management protocol is to implement in their business, because somebody don't pay you for services that you render. What's the next step? You're going to hire a lawyer, but hiring a lawyer and consulting with a lawyer in the beginning is going to save you all of the worry, because you know exactly what you need to be doing if that ever happens to you.
Gotcha. Okay, so I need to take a note because I need to add, and I want people to know that me coming on here, I don't have any of this stuff perfect. So, which is why we're having this conversation to get clarity on things that we need to do. So I'm taking note on things that I need to do as an entrepreneur myself. Okay, so let's talk about someone. Oh, so we talked about whether or not someone needs a retainer. But I guess what are some of the other reasons that people will need an attorney? So you just said the crisis management, like planning that out. Yeah. But what are the other reasons that someone would need a business attorney?
So you would need a business owner to figure out what type of structure you want to form your business. Depending on how many members you have, you want to have an attorney to kind of guide you through the proper formation, because if it's more than one of you, that's going to be documented. You need an attorney to protect your brand, because what a lot of people do is they start putting their brands out in the universe and they haven't protected it. And guess what? There is somebody that's waiting for a bright idea that you have created just to go in and copy it and go and protect it before you can. Are there recourses for you to kind of piggyback and correct it? Yes, but you want to do that up front. You don't want someone to have the ability or access or resource to steal from you.
Mm-hmm.
You need attorneys for your legal documents to draft those. And I know a lot of people are concerned about the money, but guess what? It's going to cost you more on the back end if you don't do this up front. Investing in the legal protection of your business up front is going to save you thousands in time on down the line. And if you find that right attorney that actually is focused on not billable hours and have flat rate fees, that is going to be where you need to land, because the billable hour attorneys are, in my opinion, are a waste of time. And it's no shade, no tea to them, but they're literally lying. No, billable hours are, listen, it is the most ghetto form of billables that is in existence in the legal profession still, and it needs to go away. So investing in your business up front, from the business structure to the brand protection to the legal documents, is literally where they need to start. And you can do all of this in less than 30 days. And people don't understand that. If you really dial into protecting your business, you can do it in less than 30 days. It does not take that long. But what I can tell you, filing a trademark is not that long of a process. It's the waiting process to go through the examination period.
Mm-hmm.
But you can do all of that, A, B, C, and even D, your crisis management, all in 30 days.
Okay. And I specifically sat here because my trademarks are back.
Exactly.
But let's talk about it though. Let's talk about it. Because I didn't use, I have 3. One of them is missing. But so I didn't use an attorney. And I always said, I always do it the first time so I can understand the process. And then the next time I'm like, I'm paying somebody else to do this because I don't have time for it. So, okay, I want to dispel this myth or maybe get clarity around this. So, do you advise, and by the way, y'all, this is not legal advice. So, she's not your lawyer. So, all that stuff. Get that out of the way. But as far as trademarks go, I see a lot of push for people to get trademarks, like maybe even before they start their businesses or their brand. Do you advise them to, like, do you advise us to get a trademark before or after we've started in commerce? Like for mine, like I was already in commerce and like immediately, like after I had a website secured, after I had like stuff showing the use in commerce, I applied for the trademark. So if I have an idea, do I put the money even if I don't have the business fully vetted out?
Yes. So you don't have to have the business fully vetted out before you file your trademark because the USPTO allows for you to file it and then show how it's being used.
Okay.
The importance is to get it filed before someone else steals it from you. And what a lot of entrepreneurs don't know, they think that, oh, let me go file my LLC. No, your LLC is not the most important part. It's protecting your brand and getting the domain. Those are the 2 important parts because if you want your trademark, your name that you're trying to protect through a trademark to match your website, you have to, it's literally, as soon as you think of it, that's when you need to go and make sure that it's available. So your next steps is buying the domain and filing for your trademark.
Okay, so we should be filed as we think of these things. We should go ahead and file the trademark. Now, hopefully it's going to be a business that pans out, but go ahead and do it if you know this is something that you're going to pursue.
Yes, okay. Because your LLC does not have to match your trademark. That's what a lot of people think. In the world we live in, we want to be perfect. We want everything to match. In business, we are patching things together as we go, and it does not match all the time. Right. So don't be concerned about things matching and lining up. Your main concern is protecting that name for your brand and also making sure that on down the line or in conjunction, you have that website. Because if your website, which I tell people, if people buy web domains like real estate, because I've seen and have been subjected to trying to buy a domain and someone telling me that they wanted $250,000. And I told them, God bless you, and good luck because ain't nobody paying $250,000 for that particular domain. Yeah, you tried it, but it ain't work over here. So it's like real estate, and you can literally sell domains and make so much money. That's why it's important if you want that domain name to match your trademark for your business, you have to go and get it at the same time. Gotcha.
Okay. So we talked about some things that you mentioned were like getting your legal documents and stuff, and small business are entrepreneurs who are like less than 6 figures or whatever, not necessarily needing a retainer. So what is the thought around like the legal templates that are out there? Because there are like a bunch, and I'm sure come Friday, it's going to be a whole bunch of them on sale. So is that actually something that you can use? Because oftentimes I feel like there's always a disclaimer, like you need to make sure this is valid in your state. So should we be buying these templates or what?
So here's the thing. Yes, but you have to understand that you are responsible for making sure that it conforms to the codes within your state that you are doing business under. I have no issue with people going out and buying templates, but at the end of the day, guess what? You're going to need an attorney to review it to make sure that you're legally protected. So, yes, you can go and buy those legal templates, but I only advise for small, like not extensive things like NDAs. That's something that is real simple that you can go out and I wouldn't say that the template would be something that you needed to get extensive review of, because it's very clear on the NDA. Don't talk about me. Don't say nothing about me. You don't know me. You signed it, but you don't know me. That's the basis of an NDA. So, but when you're getting into partnership agreements, when you're getting into influence agreements, things of that nature, you need to have an attorney actually draft it because they know exactly what they're doing. But if you want to buy that template and you want to pretend to be a lawyer, you're still going to have a lawyer come and review it. So you're paying and you're still paying. So why not pay exactly? But if it's an attorney that is selling it, then I am comfortable with saying that they have reviewed it to sell it. So if it's coming from an attorney website or an attorney that's a business attorney that is selling templates, then yes.
Okay, cool. Because I know a lot of people are going to be like, Black Friday, you know, they got these legal templates on sale. I'm going to get my privacy policy. I'm going to get, you know, all this stuff. So let's make sure, guys.
Absolutely.
That you're getting it from an actual attorney and this is going to apply to your business. So, hey, Kelly, thank you for joining us. Okay, so now that we're talking about these legal templates, and I know we're jumping around, but now that we're talking about the legal templates and stuff, what are some things that we need to have if we want to protect ourselves, like if we're just starting our business or, you know, we're growing our business?
The first thing is you have to have, for every business, you have to have an operating agreement. That is the roadmap to your business. And that is something that has to go in. What a lot of entrepreneurs don't know, I didn't know this when I started. It was literally trial and error that I had to figure out that you have to have a corporate record book for your business. And what that is it's everything that is you entail within your business, from when you formed your business, who's all a part of this business, your operating agreement, which is the roadmap to basically dictate what goes on and who can do what, and how things can function within your business. You're gonna need your accounting information for that year, from bookkeeping to accounting, your membership form, because you have to have a membership form. You have to have everything when you have quarterly meetings. And this is even something that I had to learn. I'm a solo business owner. When I consulted with an expert, I was like, well, I'm supposed to have meetings with myself. Yes, you still have to hold meetings quarterly, monthly, however, and you have to document it. Because if, let's say, the IRS, if they come in and they want to do an audit, they call you in, that's one of the things that a judge is going to ask you, where's your record book? Because if you don't have it, they're not taking you serious. So these are things that you have to have. And I'm going to be honest with you. In the beginning, I didn't know this. I'm like, over here running my business, and it was real ghetto. And I'm like, it wasn't given serious until I talked to someone that was like, you need this, because at any moment, somebody can ask for that documentation. And if you don't have it at its disposal, you could be in trouble.
Yo, first of all, you making me scared.
No,
not really, but no. Like, you're literally educating, which is what our whole goal was, like, to educate people. Because I'm like, what? Like, I have quarterly meetings with our CPA and everything, but I'm sure she's documented. But like these are things that I did not know. And please, IRS, don't come watch this replay.
Yeah, no, and it's not just the IRS. It's if you, let's say you get sued, somebody, because anybody can sue within any court. If you get sued, there are judges, when you go in and they want to look at your books, they ask for that. And if you say, I don't have it, then they're going to ask you, well, bye. They're like, they don't play. It's a lot of courts that if you get sued, they're going to ask for that. And I think it does a disservice as a business lawyer if we are not educating clients on the front end of what they need and how it's supposed to look. Because all it means, you can go out, because Amazon have them, but you can do it yourself. Get your binder. Just like when you were in school and you want to have the little clear things, the dividers, That's all it is dividing up the right documentation and keeping record of it.
All right, y'all. So as we approach 2023, all of us need to have our operating agreement procedures, our crisis document, and also a record book so that we can be good to go. Like we're not running piecemeal businesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So God, I have so much stuff I need to do when we get over this. All right, so let's talk about this. This is such a trend, such a trend. Everybody's helping everybody form an LLC. Let's talk about like the real way that we should be forming our businesses. And I will out myself. Like when I formed my business, me and my husband, we were business partners. But when we formed it, we went through the state. Like we didn't go through a website, but we went through the state. The state. Who's the guy? Whatever his position is that runs all the business.
Secretary of State.
Yes, we went through that website and did the on that .gov or whatever. So I don't know if most people don't know about that or most people don't want to pay for a lawyer, but a lot of people are trying to either find people who aren't attorneys to form their LLC or tell them what they need to do, which I find fascinating.
Yeah, no.
But what is the proper way that we should be forming our businesses and what should we actually take into consideration?
So I would not have, just anyone. I don't care if they are a business expert. If they are not a lawyer, do it yourself. Because guess what? If something goes wrong and somebody's name is spelled different, you don't know what they're filing actually. Because I've seen individuals add themselves to somebody's business.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you don't know what these individuals are filing. You get that receipt, you get that notice in the mail, but you don't know everything that they are filing. The only person that I would trust is a lawyer because they have an oath. They take an oath. They have to abide by that oath. And if something happens, guess what? It comes back on them. There's a record of it because when an attorney files, an attorney has to identify themselves on the document. So I would not advise anyone to allow just a regular person. I don't care if it's your home girl, your homeboy, because if something goes wrong, they gonna disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all not gonna be friends no more. And they're not gonna show up to try to help you because they're gonna be feeling like you trying to comfort them. So stay away from the homeboy, homegirl, or the neighborhood expert that didn't go to law school because things can go wrong. But what I can say is that individuals, if you are taught by someone that is a legal profession, in a legal profession that can teach you how to file it for yourself, that's the way to go. You can do it yourself, but people often you don't know the nuances and you don't know exactly the right selection because if it's a single member, you need to know exactly what type of single member formation you need to file, or if it's member managed, or if it's managed. It's a lot that goes into it, and it can become confusing if you don't have the right person, i.e. an attorney, helping guide you along the way. So like I said, do not let your homegirl, your homeboy do it for you because they're going to run off on you and you ain't going to be able to find them and y'all going to be beefing and when you could have just did it the right way in the beginning.
So I have a question. So I know a lot of people do LLCs because that's the thing that everybody talks about, doing LLCs, and no shade to LLCs. I'm an LLC. But when it comes to doing an S Corp, so my understanding is that for an S Corp, you actually have to have a board. Is that right?
For when you do an S Corp, and I think a lot of people are a little confused as to when is the proper time to file under S Corp status. You don't file it with the state. You file it with the government, the federal government. So depending, when you go back to when I was talking about the retainer, when you look at your revenue and you see how much money you're making, if you are not in a 6 to 7 figure status, why are you retaining why are you retaining an attorney at that time if you're not making that amount? If you're making under 6 figures, you are hiring an attorney that you just need to consult with or provide you with single types of service, not a monthly subscription. You don't need that. So when you're looking at your revenue and what you're generating to protect your tax liability, that's when you are to dial into going into an S corp status.
Okay. And now when you are S corp, like my confusion is like S corp, or at least what I've seen, you have to have a board of directors or something like that. But how does that work if you are a solopreneur? Like,
When you're doing your operating agreement, like I stated, it is the roadmap to how your business is going to be set up, and who is going to be a part of your business, when it's going to take place. So, looking at the way that you set up your LLC, I know for me, I set it up totally different from when it triggers that. It only goes when it triggers, when it's time to set up those parameters so that you can be in compliance with what the federal government is prompting you when you go into those statuses. So it is all triggering. If you're a solo, that's why you have to make sure your operating agreement aligns with what triggers when you're going into that S corp status.
okay. All right. So, all right. We talked about trademarks. We talked about forming your business and making sure you have the right structure. And we also talked about making sure that you have your legal documents, your crisis documents, and all the stuff I need to do after we get off. So what are some other mistakes that you often see with solopreneurs, small businesses, entrepreneurs from a legal perspective? Like maybe some people are coming to you in crisis, that things that they could have avoided.
I can tell you one that we all have fallen into the gutter with is not having an accountant or not having a bookkeeper, accountant, or a CPA from day one, because those books have to be accurate. Or guess what? You're going to get in trouble. Now I didn't go to school for math. I didn't go to school to. That's why I went to law school, because I don't like math. And math was never my friend, but I just made it do what it do. The financial aspect of people's business is what they often miss. Yes, you can have us. Yes, you're having a legal protection is important, but guess what's also important? Equally important is making sure those books are balanced.
So y'all, I actually did an interview last week with a bookkeeper, and I'm gonna have one with a CPA coming up, and we talked about some of the mistakes that entrepreneurs make, which is like intermingling their personal and their business finances and not keeping those records. So that is definitely something from a legal standpoint. Obviously, at this point, like you need to have your books in order, not just for finances, but from a legal standpoint as well. All right, so as y'all are joining in, drop your questions in the comments so that we can chat about it. We're talking about business formation, legally protecting your business. So contracts that you may need to have, documents that you need to have, and making sure you're actually forming your business in the right way. And we also talk about trademarks as well. So what are some of the recourses? So we talked about protecting your brand with a trademark. What are some of the recourses that people can take if someone infringes on that trademark?
I always, tell people, because just a couple of weeks ago, I saw this brand new skincare line. I think she's just now in her 20s or approaching her 20s. The branding looks like Skims or something Kim Kardashian will put out. She's an African American young business owner, and the name is so creative. And I'm like, girl, this is amazing. So something in my senses told me to reach out to her, and I asked her, hey, have you protected your brand? Because this name is going to be a great name for a product, and it's going to sell based off of the name and what you're selling and your branding and all of that. And she told me no. And I instantly, the wind in my stomach, I was just like, oh my God, this girl is going to lose it. Like, because somebody is going to go in and file a trademark under it. So the recourse for her is kind of limited. I think the fight would be if somebody filed the trademark that with her name that she's using. Her recourse would be that she can show when she first used it. Mm-hmm. That would be her recourse, to go and file it and object to it once it gets to that point. and prove how she's the first one to use it, and they're actually they stole her brand. But let's say she filed it, the USPTO granted her the rights to that name, and she sees somebody trying to use the name. She can send a cease or desist against the company and see if they are willing to amend, like listen to her request and remove all of the branding or anything that is triggering her rights as the owner of that name. If they decided they don't want to follow what she has recommended based off of her being the owner of the name, then you'll have to go to federal court, file a suit against the person so that they can stop. But you can do, the first line is, even I've had individuals even reach out to people without going that route of doing a cease and desist. And sometimes it ends in a favorable way, or sometimes you gotta, nuck if you bug, okay? You're nucking off in a bug. And that's just is what it is. It's my brand. I spent all this money. You're not gonna come on the back end and try to infringe on my rights.
Right. So I actually had to I think I've had to send 2 so far, where someone was using one of my trademarks to sell products.
See?
Sir, what we're not going to do is take my trademark and make a profit off of it. So thankfully, they were selling it through one of those like drop shipping sites. So they shut the shop down. But still, I'm like, come on, like let's not play games with that. All right. So Kelly has a question. Do I need different trademarks for my business name and podcast name if different from a business name? That's a good question.
So I'm assuming you have you have a name for your business and a name for your podcast. How different are the names?
That's a good question, because my business name is actually different from my brand name. Yeah. And so do you need to trademark your business name? Like if it's not anything creative, like if it's like Alexander LLC or something like that, do I even need to trademark that?
Yeah,
it depends.
It depends on how far you see your brand going. How far you see it going. If your business name is Harry and Moore and you trademarked it, okay. If your podcast name is Lisa and Co., then if there are 2 different names and you have to trade. So let me just give you, from my standpoint, I started a business called Single in Law, and I trademarked it for the purposes of entertainment. It all goes by the classification and how you're using it. Could I have just copywritten the actual podcast episodes or what the content that was going to be generated? Yes. Am I still going to do that? Yes. But my business name, TeleLawyer, that's my business consulting firm. My podcast name is Single in Law. So absolutely, if it coincides in what I had to do, then I would absolutely recommend that you trademark both of those names separately based off of the classifications that you're using currently in commerce or you're planning on using.
All right, that's really good, because I think a lot of people may be in that same situation where their business name is different from what they're presenting online as their brand name. And then I guess to that point, if you are presenting a different name online and going by a different brand name than your business name, does that require a DBA, or does the government care that your Instagram handle is one thing and your business name is another?
They don't, but this is another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. When you are looking for your domain name, when you think of this name this business idea, you should be going to secure the domain, securing the trademark, and also securing the social media handles for every social media platform. That way that your brand can be aligned with the name that you're using to try to protect. So it doesn't matter if your social media handle is different. It doesn't. If you have attached your actual business name to the social media handle, it does not matter, because you're still selling your business just by abbreviated name. That's what a lot of people do when they cannot get their social media handle. Just like domains, social media handles are real estate. people are charging people to turn over their social media handles because it's what they want. I had to do that. One of my brands is this old lady, because my real name is Thelma, and my Thelma, and I was trying to get Thelma Boo. It's this old lady who has not been on social media for decades. I cannot get in contact with this woman. And it would have been nothing that I could do because I didn't think of the name until after she had been on for decades. So now I'm like, I had to do something different. I had to add a little twist to it. So it does not matter.
All right. Not Kelly. Danielle said, well, Kelly said, thank you. Danielle said, do you need an attorney to send a cease and desist, or can you do it yourself? And that, I think actually Danielle is one of my clients, and she actually has a situation where someone is using her, is it trademark name? I think it's trademark, and someone's using it as their like Facebook name, as a Facebook page.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just be very transparent with y'all. Do you need a lawyer to do legal draftings and sending out things? Yes. Do you have to have one? No. But it's in your best interest, because depending on it's a play of words when we're talking about legal. Depending on how the document is drafted can prompt in a resolution for a client. Because a lot of times if you go get that generic document, it can err on the side of giving them the ability and flexibility to wait and figure out how to maneuver around whatever you said. But the way attorneys draft documents is a play with words and legal terminology that shuts that down.
All right. So Danielle said, yes, it is trademark. And yes, it's being, I thought that was the case, that someone was using her trademark as their Facebook page. So my advice would be to reach out to Thelma on that.
Yeah, you can definitely reach out to me, and I've done it before. It has happened to people close to me, and things were resolved. But I understand how stressful it is when you have invested in your brand.
Kelly said, what's the difference between needing a trademark or a copyright? I'm new to this, y'all.
So when you think about copywriting, you are protecting content. Or so the way you look at it, if you have a book and the contents within that book, you want to make sure it's copyrighted. If you have a song, you want to make sure that is copyrighted for licensing purposes so that you can generate the revenue off the return of your investment. When you are creating content for social media, photographers use copyrights. That's why when you see individuals like Kim Kardashian post pictures that are tagged with someone's photographer's information, that's because they have filed a copyright for it. So when you think about copyright, you're thinking about protecting the content of what you have developed. When you think about a trademark, you're protecting the name of the brand that you are going out in the universe and saying, hey, this is my identity.
All right. Danielle said 2 different people are using her trademark. So I would definitely reach out.
You would just need one cease and desist to send to both of them to shut it down. It's just like a demand letter. When somebody don't pay you and for your services, you send them a demand letter like, hey, pay me. You have this amount of time to pay me. If you don't, then strap up, we going to court.
That's why y'all need a lawyer, because listen, sometimes it has to get serious.
Yes.
All right, y'all, if y'all have any more questions, drop them, because I want to be mindful of Thelma's time, and I appreciate her being here and dropping all these jokes with y'all. I told y'all I don't have it all together, so I'm learning a lot, and I'm going to be messaging her, be like, look, sis, we need to get this together. Kelly says, do you have an idea of how much you recommend that we budget for legal as an entrepreneur? That's a good question. I was thinking that same thing.
So I'm going to base it off of me. So when I set up TeleLawyer, I set it up on a flat fee service because I understood as an entrepreneur how expensive it is to protect your business up front. Fortunately for me, I'm a lawyer, so I was able to navigate in that world without having to hire an attorney to do it for me, because I could have hired a business attorney but I just strapped up my boots and went back to my legal resources and did it myself. So the way I have structured my particular consulting firm is to be affordable for the entrepreneur. So I have flat rate service fees for everything that I have, and I would suggest just buffering from how much it is from getting your business formation to getting your trademark to getting the most important documents up front is your operating agreement, having an NDA if you are in that line of business, and whatever agreements if you have invested in your business, you're going to need one of those documents to show that you are an investor into your business. So there are 3 documents that you actually need. Crisis management goes into play with, I would say, NDAs. That's setting up a crisis management protocol because you want to protect the image of your business. So all in all, I would say with a buffer, make sure you have for legal services a minimum of $4,000 ready to invest. And I'm gonna give you another secret that a lot of attorneys are using now because they're charging so much that they are allowing clients to be put on pay later structure to where there are financing options. I offer financing options for my clients to where you work out how you're going to pay later for the services that you are hiring me for. We have payment plans. You can pay up front. It just depends on your budget. But I would just say having that budget of $4,000 up front, and also take advantage of using your business line of credit because that's actually amping you up so that you can get even more business line of credit on down the line.
All right. So now, are you able to work with people in other states? I think you're in Dallas, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you can work with people wherever.
Yes.
All right. So y'all keep that in mind and make sure you go follow Tell a Lawyer group on Instagram. So if you haven't followed her, go ahead and follow. And if you do need legal advice and you want to hire her, because she's not your attorney, if you want to hire her as your attorney, be sure to go there and check out her services. She just said she has a flat fee for her services, so go check them out. I will definitely be going to check them out because there are some things that we need to get in order, and we want to be in decency and order come 2023 when we're not playing business no more. Okay, y'all? We're not playing business. So let's make sure we have our legal structures together and that we're doing everything that we need to do to protect our brands and our businesses as we continue to grow. All right. So last questions, if y'all got them, better drop them now. Go ahead and follow. And if you haven't already, and then if you follow me, I help moms grow their businesses and exit their 9-to-5 so that they can have more time for family, travel, and self-care. So if that is of interest to you, make sure you follow this account as well. Thank you so much, Kelly, for joining. Guys, we appreciate it. Any last parting words you want to share with the people?
The only thing that I would suggest is, I know talking to lawyers are scary, but understand that every lawyer is not the cops. Every lawyer is not the cops. We are literally here to help you. And being in a position of being an entrepreneur myself, I know how stressful it is. But trust and believe, once you have your legal structure all together, you can go out and do how much business that you want to do. Just invest in the beginning on the legal structure. One thing I forgot to mention, make sure you have business insurance. Business insurance is also important because you don't have that and somebody tries to sue you, guess what? You're coming out of your pocket. So make sure you have that. I forgot to include that. It's a lot of things that we offer at Tell a Lawyer to help business owners. So anything you need, any questions, any concerns, email, send a DM so that we can help you, because the entrepreneur is the mindset of how and why we started Tell a Lawyer, is to help you all.
All right, y'all. So you guys know where to go. Go follow, hit the link in her bio and contact her for your legal needs. She can help you. Doesn't matter what state you're in. Thank you so much. Someone never thought of business. Exactly, Danielle. All this stuff we did not know.
Listen, I've been in your shoes. Trust me, I've been in your shoes, and every chance I get, and it's something new, I'm like, oh. So yeah, so that's exactly, we give you the roadmap, everything that you need. We're not hiding the ball. That's why I don't believe in billable hours, because I believe in giving you everything you need up front, because that's the only way that my clients will succeed. And I want to see everybody win.
As always, I hope that you found this episode helpful. If you did, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. And with that, I'll talk to you in the next episode.